In a stony city corner, a weary man stands beneath a lone lantern. He is Jean Valjean. But this isn't just the beginning of his story, it is the start of a human journey that reaches a light that cannot be dimmed. Les Miserables is more than a tale of the past, it is a living, breathing story for today, for anyone who has wandered through darkness toward light. It is a story of wounds, the ones that poverty and injustice carve into the lives of the forgotten. Yet within those wounds, seeds of hope quietly grow. It is about a mother who sells her body so her daughter can smile, a man who becomes a father through love, not birth, and a light in a child's eyes that gives meaning to the world. After 19 years in prison, Jean Valjean is released, broken and weary. Yet society offers him no welcome, he is feared and rejected. The only place that opens its door is the home of a kind bishop, Muriel. That night, Valjean steals the bishop's silver, but he is soon caught. When police bring him back, the bishop surprises everyone by saying he gave the silver as a gift. This act of mercy shakes Valjean to his core. He decides to rebuild his life, to become a new man in a harsh world. Fantine, a single mother, is forced to leave her daughter Cosette with the Thénardiers and find work in another town. She finds a job at a factory, but when her secret is exposed, she is fired. To send money for Cosette, Fantine sacrifices everything. She sells her hair, her teeth, and eventually her dignity. She becomes gravely ill and collapses in the snowy street. Inspector Javert arrests her, but Jean Valjean, now the mayor, intervenes and saves her. Valjean promises to find Cosette. In Montfermeil, he sees the little girl carrying a heavy bucket in the snow while the Thénardiers watch angrily. He buys her freedom and takes her away. On the road, Javert chases them, but they manage to escape. By nightfall, in the fog and cold, they find shelter in a convent. There begins a bond of love and protection between them. Valjean and Cosette live peacefully for years in a convent. Cosette grows into a beautiful young woman. Later, they move to Paris and live in secrecy. Valjean remains cautious. One day, Javert reappears. In a tense escape, Valjean climbs a wall with Cosette on his back, evading danger. They begin a quiet life in a stone house with a small lit window. Cosette has grown into a graceful young woman. One day in the park, her eyes meet those of a gentle student named Marius. A quiet love begins to blossom. Marius, involved in a revolutionary student group, becomes deeply attached to Cosette. When Valjean learns of this, he relocates them to protect her. Marius is heartbroken. Love begins to grow even amid the turmoil of society. Marius, raised by a royalist grandfather, discovers the truth about his Republican father and leaves home. He lives in poverty, yet his ideals lead him to join a student revolutionary group. His love for Cosette tears him between romance and duty. He spends nights reflecting with his father's portrait and days waving the flag of rebellion. The Thénardiers return under false identities as petty criminals. They plot to rob and kill Valjean. Marius overhears their plan and alerts the police, stopping the crime. However, this event risks exposing Valjean's hidden past and threatens the fragile peace in their lives. During the 1832 uprising, Marius joins the barricades. Valjean, fearing for his life, joins him to protect him. Javert is captured, but Valjean spares him. When Marius is wounded, Valjean heroically carries him through the sewers of Paris, risking everything for his safety. After recovering, Marius marries Cosette. Valjean quietly withdraws from their lives, feeling out of place. Marius, unaware of Valjean's sacrifices, distrusts him. Cosette feels his absence but doesn't understand why. A silent rift forms between love and loyalty. Marius learns the truth and returns with Cosette to Valjean, but it's too late. Valjean is dying. In a moment filled with love and tears, they say goodbye. He dies peacefully near the silver candlesticks from the bishop. The story doesn't end in darkness, but in the light of forgiveness and humanity. Victor Hugo's Les Miserables is not only a literary masterpiece but a profound social, moral, and philosophical statement about human nature and structural injustice. This work is a grand mirror, reflecting not just the poverty and inequality of 19th-century France, but also timeless and universal concerns that still resonate today. At the heart of the novel lies Jean Valjean, a living embodiment of a man's struggle against fate, law, and conscience. For the petty crime of stealing a loaf of bread, he is thrust into a cycle of punishment that strips him of identity, dignity, and future. Yet, as Hugo powerfully illustrates, it is precisely within darkness that the human spirit can discover light. The Bishop Myriel's act of mercy is the turning point, an unforgettable literary moment that transforms Valjean from a bitter ex-convict into a man reborn. This scene is one of literature's finest examples of the redemptive power of forgiveness. Hugo masterfully highlights the tension between rigid law, personified by Inspector Javert, and moral grace, embodied by Valjean. Javert is a complex figure driven by unwavering loyalty to the law, while Valjean chooses compassion over retribution. Their contrast forms one of the novel's dramatic pillars and provokes fundamental questions about justice, personal responsibility, and the human capacity to change. Women in Les Miserables also play crucial roles. Fantine symbolizes the sacrifice and suffering of women in a patriarchal and unforgiving society. Cosette represents innocence and hope, raised not by a biological parent but by a heart full of love. The romance between Cosette and Marius, blooming amid political chaos, stands as a testament to love and beauty in a wounded world. Stylistically, Hugo is a master of description, his prose often sprawling across pages, yet never tedious. Instead, these passages delve deep into the soul of his characters, settings, and society. At times philosophical, poetic, or bitingly ironic, Hugo's voice transports the reader into the heart of 19th-century France and immerses them in its pain, hope, fury, and grace. In the end, Les Miserables is more than just a novel, it is a call to awaken our collective conscience. It paints humanity in all its flaws and glories and reminds us that even in a darkened world, a single flickering candle can illuminate the path to salvation.